Do you see that? That is a tangled cord. I literally have no idea how it happened, but it just bloody happens. In our house, we call this the tangle monster. Now, can you see that? Now, you may not be able to see this one, which makes it even worse. And once again, I have no idea how it bloody happened, but this, my friends, is a bent rotor. And in our house, we call this... Oh, you piece of shit. And this is number one of 3 things I hate about disc brakes on road bikes. That slightly bent rotor, tinging, slightly touching your pads as you're riding with your mate out in nature. It's kind of like going to a really nice restaurant, there being a screaming kid in the corner. Now, I did a poll up to 2 months ago on this topic, and people tended to agree with this as the number one issue. But one channel supporter rightfully said, "What annoys me most is people moaning about disc brakes." Logan rightfully responded, "Most of the time disc brakes do the moaning for you." Which I thought was a bloody good response. But to even out this video, we have expert bike mechanic Jay Taylor bringing a solution to each one of my hates.
Burn, baby, burn.
Because the fact is, I kind of need to get over it. The industry has moved on, and let's face it, disc brakes do come with their perks. Actually, we've got to put the hubometer on it first. Right.
Oh.
Is that what you call it? Bent rotor?
Yeah, you squeeze the brake on a little bit and you'll hear. So if you're out the saddle, the flex will be about that. So it'll be pretty horrible out of the saddle. How do you fix it?
Yeah.
Well, you can get this little tool which bends a rotor, but it does it in such a sharp spot that it actually bends the metal sometimes more than it should and actually creases the metal because it's not wide enough. It should actually be like this wide.
But how do you even know if you're getting it in the right spot?
That's what she said. I do everything by ear, so you can hear it here. Now, if you try to look between a set of brakes, I can't see anything.
Yes.
If you simply get an A4 sheet of paper and fold it like so, reflex paper. So I can see that it's now, try to film between there. So it's awesome. I can see that it's hitting over there. Now I can hear where it is. I listen, so I can see it's right here. So now what I'm going to do, instead of using the tool that may bend and crease the rotor, I'm going to give it a, for the Austin Powers lovers out there, judo chop.
Oh! As simple as that.
Yeah, so now I get...
Is that going to contaminate the disc brakes though because you put your palm on it? You know?
No, it's very clean. And you can come now and see actually how straight I got that compared to before.
But that sounds perfect.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, this was a one-take shot and we did not use AI.
No sound.
Anyone can do that. If it's bent in this way, I will actually get my palm again and gently bend out the rotor like this.
The second thing I hate about disc brakes is this.
On February the 24th, a bunch of cyclists rode down my hill and there was quite the loud noise. It woke me and the whole family up and my dog and my 7 stepchildren.
Before we get back to Jay, I did want to thank today's video sponsor being BetterHelp. I know from my channel analytics that roughly 9 out of 10 of you watching are men, and I know from my own personal experiences that men aren't very good at sharing their emotions. They tend to keep them deep down inside. I mean, look at this video as an example. I've hated disc brakes since 2017 and it's taken me till 2024. To get it off my chest. But what I learned many years ago when I was going through these real world challenges was speaking to somebody, getting things off your chest, coupled with professional advice can do you a world of good. However, what I didn't like at the time when I was going through these challenges and speaking to somebody was 1, finding the right person, and 2, having to physically be somewhere, chewing into more hours of the day. With BetterHelp, those problems are literally solved by their initial questionnaire, which will match you with the most appropriate therapist, and they literally have thousands of those to pair you with. You can then easily schedule your conversation over phone, web call, or just messaging, whatever is preferred, at a convenient time for you in the comfort of your own home. If you're currently facing some challenges in life and ready to tackle them, please check out the link to BetterHelp below, which includes a 10% channel discount code. Now, back to the video.
Someone's contaminated the brake pads.
Okay.
And I've never done this in my life and I feel really naughty. I'm gonna spray the brakes with WD-40.
Aren't you supposed to do that?
Oh yeah, mate. Oh, they were getting a bit rusty, so I gave them a hit, you know? Oh, I give all my fishing reels a bloody hit when I'm going out for flatties. And I just dribbled. Because I just... Oh man, I can't do this. No. Yeah, we need to show you what happens now. This is the front brake on. It's not squeaking, but it ain't working. So it's not squeaking because it's so oily. Today's episode is powered by Cyfleet Toyota. It doesn't work like fully on and you can move it. Oh, it stinks, hey? So we put so much WD-40 and oil on this that squeeze the brake on as hard as you can. It doesn't squeak, but he's holding that on with 2 hands and you can move it. But there's so much oil on there, it's lubricating and stopping from squeaking. So we're gonna see if you can do these few simple tricks. That's some disc brake cleaner, but let's have a look how much oil and stuff comes off these brakes. Pretty filthy. Paper towel's the best. We're gonna see if we can get the oil out of these brake pads without having to buy new brake pads. I'm gonna do a little bit of myth busting today. So you're gonna pull the brake pads out, and now you're gonna see the glaze. There's oil all on the backing, there's oil everywhere. So what we're gonna do to start with, we're gonna give them a spray with this, and just let that dry for a minute. Clean all of this up. This stuff evaporates real quick and just pulls the oil off of it. Now you can see the rotor's quite glazy. A little bit of sandpaper like this, run around the rotor. Some pretty fine stuff, probably go a couple of times. Leave the dust on there though, because the dust is good. Here's these brake pads that we've got a little bit of oil out of, but they're quite glazed still. So can we save these brake pads or do we need new brake pads? Let's go outside. This is an old mountain biker's trick from way back. All right, so coat these up. Now this stuff's real flammable, so we're going to try to burn the oil out of the pads. You'll watch them get real hot and the oil will sizzle out of the pads. Bit of Mythbusters here. Can this work?
Now you're being a pyro.
Disco Inferno! Don't pick them up, they are hot. Now we're gonna give these brake pads a sand. You can see that pad now, it looks like new. Now we're gonna put these pads back in. Will it work? Yep, we're gonna see, did it work? It's all clean. Now it's a little bit slippy. If you wanna bed this brake in quickly, the rotor's sanded down, the pads are sanded down. Now what you do, a little bit of water on the brake, run it down the hill to try to bed this brake in with a bit of water, it should wear it in. Dry for a bit now and then see how it goes. It kind of works. It'll get you out of trouble. If you get a little bit of contamination in there, it'll definitely work to get the oil off the surface. But we went really hard and they still actually work pretty well. The ultimate solution is to put new pads in. About 35 bucks. If you want to go the full pro pads, you're going to be looking at 50 bucks. The brakes are now working properly. Whoa, dudes.
The third thing I hate about disc brakes is general maintenance. Now I know some people love doing stuff with their hands, but I don't. And my view is I've got enough shit going on in my life. I don't want to add more things to the list. With rim brakes, which I was on for about 8 years, maintenance did not exist. I think maybe once I changed my pads, but that was it. With disc brakes, you've got to keep on top of it if you want to keep moving forward with your favorite or one of your favorite hobbies being cycling. So to run through a general blanket approach to maintenance, here's Jay.
At least every 6 months, but you should be checking them regularly. It's pretty hard to see. If you, again, get the white paper and look down between the brakes, you can actually see whether there's a bit of meat between the pads. You might need to get a torch. Okay. You can generally see.
Unlike on rim brakes, you know there was the old wear line?
Unfortunately, no. It's pretty hard.
Okay.
So unless you use a white piece of paper and a torch, you're not going to be able to see. You should be taken to a professional mechanic to sort of assess that stuff. And if you're doing 9 to 10 hours a week, you need to minimum get your bike looked at every 6 months. If you're washing your bike off regularly with water, you shouldn't even really need to clean it with any products. You definitely don't want to wipe down the rotor. No. And if you're using any bike sort of shine, you want to spray it onto the rag away from the bike and then wipe the bike and the rims down.
Okay.
Don't ever spray it on the bike. You will contaminate your brake pads. A new rotor is in width 1.8 millimeters.
Okay.
And now you want to look at replacing your rotors when they get under 1.5. You can see with this rotor here, it's actually curved out here because the brake pads actually wore out and it was metal on metal and just ripped the brake pads apart. It's actually paper thin.
So how do you measure
it? With some vernier calipers.
Okay.
TaylorCycles.com.au. We have a new shop dog, Lulu. Lulu!